Hello. Here's welcoming you to another session of Question Time. I am Chidozie, your student president, and I've got one vice president here with me, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi everyone, my name is Wilfred. I'm the Vice President representing School of Computing, Engineering and Built Environments, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and today we have a very special guest with us, and he represents the career services, and I'll let him introduce himself as well.
Hi everyone, my name's Craig Phillips and I'm a Senior Careers Advisor at the GCU Career Service here in Glasgow.
Okay, thank you, Craig. So this is always just a very short session to help signpost students better to use your services and also to understand how your service works. So we'll just be asking a few questions and would expect some enlightenments to them. So I think our the first question is to ask where in the university is the career services? Because I know that there's students in GCU who probably still do not know how to find you. So could you tell them where to find you in the university?
Yes, absolutely, Chidozie. So we are based in person. We're based on the first floor of the George Moore building in the Campus Life Lounge. So that's where we are if you want to access our services in person. But we also have a range of online sources, online resources that you can access 24/7 as well. And I'll say more about them shortly.
Okay, thank you. So that tells everyone exactly where the career services is at the first floor in George Moore building, and you could also access some online services. So I would also want to ask, what exactly are the services that you provide? I know there's a lot of things you do, but I just want you to give a breakdown so students could know exactly the plethora of services that your sector of the university provides.
Yeah, absolutely, Chidozie. So the Career Service, we exist to support current students and recent graduates within 2 years of graduation. And we support students and recent graduates with their career planning, their decision making, and help them manage their own career development and employability. And we
Okay.
provide support in a variety of different ways. So, firstly, we provide up to date career information to help inform students and recent graduates. And we provide that information through our website, our online resources, our social media channels, and our career service blog. So that's careers information. We also provide careers advice and guidance, and we do that in different ways. So, our team of careers advisors, our team of professionally qualified careers advisors, have regular inputs into the curriculum throughout different departments across the university. And we also offer appointments, whether that's online or in person here at the Careers Service. So, we also provide careers advice and guidance. In addition to that, we also deliver a programme of career fairs and employer events that give students and recent graduates the opportunity to engage firsthand with employers that would like to recruit them. In addition to that, we also provide access to jobs and work experience, and we do that through Career Hub, where we post and advertise a range of different roles, and we also coordinate the Work Experience Hub, which is the university's on campus employment initiative. So, information, advice, and guidance, a programme of events, access to opportunities. And then, last but not least, we also offer personal development opportunities and do this through the University Skills Award, which we coordinate, and that's called the Common Good Award. And we also co run the university's career mentoring programme too. So, Chidozie, overall, careers information, careers advice and guidance, a programme of employer events and career fairs, access to opportunities, and access to personal development opportunities.
Oh wow, I feel that's actually a lot of things you do, and I feel any student who definitely engages thoroughly with the career services has a whole lot to benefit from it.
Yep,
So
thank you,
yeah,
Chidozie.
I'd let Wilfred carry on.
All right. So we also want to know how students can reach out to you or how they can book a session if they want to.
So, Wilfred, students and recent graduates can book appointments with us, so to speak. Say they want to see a careers advisor, they can book an appointment on Career Hub, which is the career service platform where you can look at vacancies, sign up for events, and make appointments. And you can book a 15-minute or a 45-minute appointment. However,
So,
we also run a daily careers advisor drop in
mhm.
most days at the career service, and that takes place normally between 11 and 1. Although the details of that are advertised here at the career service on the first floor of the George Moore building about
Oh,
what days and times they're running. And for that, Wilfred, you don't need an appointment to see a careers advisor. You can turn up. You can also reach us by emailing our central email account, which is careers at gcu.ac.uk. If you have a question that can't be answered by seeing a careers advisor, but we also normally have members of staff on the front desk for longer parts of the day. So students and recent graduates can turn up that way and reach us there. So you can reach us in person or via email.
okay, thank you very much. I need to also ask, from your experience, what are the advice that you can give to current students on how to prepare for the job market?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good question, Wilfred, and it's one that we get asked very frequently. So, for me, there are different ways in which students and recent graduates can prepare for the job market. And what it fundamentally requires is time, effort, and practice. There's lots of different parts to this. So, first of all, we would recommend that student would research the sector that they want to work in. So, what part of the economy, what labour market sector would they like to work in? And within that, some questions to consider and research would be: who are the main employers? What skills and qualities and experiences do they look for? Where are the vacancies being advertised? When are the vacancies being closed? That process of learning about that, we would encourage students to be really proactive with that, because the earlier that you start to research this, the more time you give yourself to learn about what's required and shape your approach.
Okay.
So there's the different components to the research part that we would encourage students to do. So in addition to researching the sectors, we would also encourage students to take time to prepare for applications and interviews. And part of that, Wilfred, is about gathering all the evidence and information that you might require to complete application forms and interviews. So, for example, details of your academic achievements, your employment history, etc. And once you've got that information, you start to look at the job descriptions and person specifications related to a job, and you start to consider what are they looking for against what you have to offer. Are there any gaps in your experience that you might need to address before you apply? And then once you've done that, Wilfred, we would suggest to help prepare for the labour market, understand the recruitment processes that you may go through relative to the sector you want to go into or the job you're trying to gain, because organisations use different recruitment methods, and the number of methods they use might vary on the size of the organisation and sector. So, Wilfred, what we would suggest is that students, when preparing for the labour market or the jobs market, start to think about what type of application form might be required, CVs and covering letters, ensuring that these are well drafted and up to date and relevant. If a student's going to encompass psychometric testing as part of an application process, which is quite common amongst graduate employers, ensuring they're aware of which type of testing they might engage with and also taking the time to practice in advance. Then thinking about interviews, will it be a video interview, telephone or face to face, considering what level of preparation might that require, And then finally, if the job has an assessment centre where there might be presentations and group tasks and case studies. So a student might not encounter every single one of those different elements of a recruitment process, but it's very much worth taking the time to consider what areas they might face when doing this. So overall, my advice in preparing for the labour market, Wilfred, would be research the sector that they're going into, gather the evidence to support applications, learn about the recruitment processes, and then practice where they can. And what's really positive about this is students are not alone going through this. If they feel that they require help at any stage of this recruitment process or career planning process, that's what we're very much here to do. We're here to help students navigate that. Does that answer the question, Wilfred? Okay.
Yes, thank you
Yep.
very much.
Yeah. And I think last on the list is a question that touches on something that I think every student would at some point or the other in their careers have had questions about. And that is what qualifies for a good CV. Now I know there's lots of CVs, but how do I know if I've got a good CV for my career?
So, Chidozi, there's different elements to constructing what we would regard as a good CV. And I think there's some top tips that I could suggest certainly today to get
Yeah.
students and recent graduates started. So, first of all, always tailor the CV to that role or employer. Try to
Yeah.
avoid sending generic CVs to different employers because it won't match what they're looking for. And that's the most important bit of advice I could provide. Ensure that you tailor it so your content is as closely connected to what the employer is looking for as possible. If you're interested in working in the UK, generally speaking, the CV will be either one full page or two full pages maximum length.
Yeah.
The formatting and content, we would try to encourage students to have a logical structure with clear headings and consistent formatting. The easier the CV is to read, the more impact it is likely going to have with the recruiter. And that's your audience when writing the CV. You want to write it for the recruiter, engaging them in what they're looking for. And the formatting can really help with that. Within the content, try and ensure that you have a positive and dynamic tone and language. So, for example, when you're talking about work experience, try and focus on achievements, not just what you did, what you have delivered, and what you've gained from it. Where you can, try and get feedback on it. And that's something that we very much do regularly for students here at the Career Service because crafting a CV, Chidozi, as you'll know yourself, it takes time to write it, refine
True.
it, edit it, rework it, and then tailor it. So this can be quite a time consuming process, but a CV is a very important document and it requires the care and attention that we would recommend students take when putting it together. So I would say that that's some of the most relevant top tips that I would share around the CV. But just for the audience watching this, just to encourage them, if you feel you need support with your CV, come and see us in person at the Career Service, book an appointment or access some of our online resources that are available at the GCU Career Service website that will be able to help you with the CVs.
Oh, that was explosive. Thank you very much. Because we know that lots of students always run into the quagmire of not knowing how long how big a CV should be, or exactly if they could just use one CV for two jobs. And I think you've put some clarity to that.
So those it varies country to country and depending on the sector that you're going into. So, for example, academic CVs will be longer than 2 pages.
Yeah.
In certain countries, you might use a standard format or a template that's more consistent with that country. And again, we have a range of resources on the Career Service website that will help students thinking about application and recruitment processes relative to different countries that they might be interested in working in.
Thank you. That's been very, very awesome. And we would call it a day here. And I believe for everyone who's watching this, you've probably gotten some extra information as to what the career services do and how best you can interact with them to ensure that your future after GCU is one filled with lots of job opportunities. So, from us to you today, it's bye and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.